Now begin to draw such bands. These are light and dark bands which are always seen. That's why we call it a striated muscle, right? Hello, my dear friends. I'm Dr. Vaishali Bharambe, Professor Anatomy. Let's begin to understand how to draw diagrams of muscle. Let's start with the skeletal muscle. First, the transverse section of a skeletal muscle. First, draw the connective tissue sheath that holds the skeletal muscle cells together. Now begin to draw transverse sections of the skeletal muscle myocyte. And remember to draw the epithelium of capillaries. Draw the nucleus flattened towards the periphery. Remember to draw also the connective tissue surrounding, supporting it. Let's now label this. This was a muscle fascicle which is enclosed by connective tissue sheath called perimysium. This is a single muscle cell or a myocyte enclosed by connective tissue sheath called endomysium. Let's now talk about the longitudinal section. Draw such longitudinal sections. Okay, there are only 4 myocytes here. Stay in them properly. Now begin to draw such bands. These are light and dark bands. Draw the flattened nucleus towards the periphery. Please remember to draw the nuclei of the fibroblasts which are present in the connective tissue sheath. Let's now move on to the cardiac muscle. Let's draw a diagram of cardiac muscle. So draw such somewhat branching looking cells. Remember to draw a rounded nuclei. Around each nucleus there is a pallor. This is called perinuclear pallor. Now let's begin to divide that into individual cells. For this you have to draw these lines which are called as intercalated discs. Now we have to draw the surrounding background connective tissue and blood capillaries. Draw them. We'll now move on to the smooth muscle. Your smooth muscle cell is spindle shaped. The nuclei of these cells are somewhat cigar shaped. The blood vessels will be found in the connective tissue. Let's label our diagram now. These are the myocytes. This is the connective tissue sheath, a cigar shaped nucleus and blood capillaries in the connective tissue sheath. We'll now go on to the last diagram which is transverse section of a smooth muscle. So the sections of smooth muscles will be found large and small as you can see. The nucleus is somewhat rounded and centrally placed. Remember to draw the connective tissue supporting them and the connective tissue enclosing them into fascicles. Of course, remember also to draw the capillaries. Let's label this now. So here you are seeing the myocyte. Nucleus is rounded and somewhat centrally placed. Connective tissue sheath is present here as well. And here are blood capillaries. I hope this has helped you to draw in your histology. Thank you, students. See you in the next Draw and Label video. Bye.